Is the YouTube stream gonna turn on or what? That's not the right window. Okay, give me 1 second. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right, that is posted. We are looking pretty good now. Chimkin says sizing down today. Well, the market is very volatile to start. I will say that. Very volatile to start. Last few days have been Operation Try Not to FOMO every single day. So that's what we're gonna not do. I think silver got slammed again yesterday out of absolutely nowhere overnight. Yeah, look at this. Look, it was doing good, it bounced, and then all of a sudden it just got nuked. Like, you guys have no idea how big these moves are on minis. Like this move right here. Tick. Yeah, $25 per tick. Let's just do some math real quick. 25 times 32. Yeah, it's an $80,000 per move. $80,000 per mini move right here. Like, freaking nuts. Good morning, Elran. And then we have crypto bros continuing to cry. They are indeed continuing to cry. Look at that. Is this sell-off warranted though? I don't know. If the biggest cause for this huge market sell-off is the new Fed guy coming in, I don't think it'll last, to be honest. I think it's rather temporary. The market's still chopping up. So I'm personally leaning bearish for this low to break at some point. Don't know if it's going to happen today. Actually, it's pretty reasonable if it happens today. That's not too far away. That's realistic. NQ's still a bit far though. Let's drop to the 15-minute, see what kind of pivots I have. All right, I really only have one pivot before that, on ES at least. We are in super duper heavy demand though. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm leaning bearish to. On ES, 68.14. I don't really have anything else above that except 68.38. Here's a nice pivot on the Nasdaq. Also have this here, here, and here. Okay. That's so much demand. That's 6 demand zones, about to be 7 on ES. But I'm still bearish to at least a 68.37 on ES. hoping for bullish open. So kind of like yesterday, I can enter puts. If we open bearish, I'm not really going to be able to enter. Just in case. There's a lot of pivots to the upside. So if we can get back into supply, I don't think the supply is going to be much resistance, honestly. Let me hide supply and demand real quick. These yellow lines are my price targets, specifically the ones below because I'm leaning bearish. All right, pre-market analysis sent out. We still have 6 minutes till market open. I'm not sure. Will I be able to see these zones on the 1 minute? Yes, I can. Cool. NQ, I'm not going to be able to. I don't really need to. Do I need to draw them? I probably should. Probably should trace these over because the entire screen isn't green like it is on yes. So give me a second. 4.526. There's one demand zone. And then two demand zones. Three. And this is at 4. This one goes all the way down to 45 and it goes this far down. That's nuts. 4, 5, 3. Yeah, right here. This one also goes. There we go. Now we can see it on the 1 minute. I did not extend them far enough. But the line sticking out of the left side of your chart, volume profile. Yes, that is volume profile. You leaving bear for Spire. I'm leaning yes. Do you like AMD puts again? I didn't trade AMD puts yesterday, but I have not looked at it. I trade mostly SPX and the Nasdaq. Yeah, we still got 4 minutes to market open. Guess I'll update my contracts. Towards a bearish day. Yeah, I don't know how much we're gonna drop today, but it's definitely bearish. I haven't. If I get a second, I'll read the news to you guys and see what's up. If type in chat if you guys want to hear the news this morning. Gosh, man, puts are expensive. I'm like dropping my strike 100 points and still not doing it. Okay. Okay, so what do we have for news today? We have once again, like every single wait, today's Thursday, never mind. I don't think we have that job report at 10. Because if we do, Market Watch ain't showing it. We have job oh wait, no, never mind, we do now. Job openings 10 a.m. I refreshed it, it just showed up. And let's see. Mark recap. Uh, AMD cratered 17% yesterday. Blah, blah, blah. We already know what happened yesterday. January layoffs hit 17-year highs. U.S. firms announced 108,000 job cuts, up 205% from December, the highest level for the month since 2009, when record keeping began. Geez. Planned hiring hit a record low. Jobless claims, seasonally adjusted initial jobless claims totaled 231,000 for the week ending January 31st, up 22,000 week over week. The 4-week moving average was 212,000, up 6,000 week over week. Europe maintained their interest rates, and Eurozone retail fell. Nuclear pact expires with Russia. New START arms control treaty has expired, ending the last major check on the world's two largest nuclear arsenals. The Trump assassination plotter sentenced. Yeah, it's pretty much where we're at. Let me see. Okay, software makers have been at risk since the moment ChatGPT washed up on our shores. Um, Looks like a lot of it has to do with AI as well. Yeah, just the normal stuff. Not nothing crazy. So we pretty much just have news 30 minutes after market open. And I'm bearish for 68.37 on ES. I'm not really going to be able to enter it, I don't think, though. No, I'm not going to be able to get in. If we can bounce a little bit, I can, but it looks like it's just going to get straight there. The risk reward's terrible. Actually, on this bounce, I could probably swing it. Yeah, I did fill it. Filled it half size on this buying wick. That's the best I can do half size. Um, and look how bad the risk reward is. That's why. That works. Let's see if it's gonna break. That's perfect double bottom. That's illegal. There it is. There we go. That's a nice little win. Heavy trim there, but I'm going for next PT is 68.14. Puts it 3.9. I sold for a bit less than that. Oh, that's really bullish on the Nasdaq. It's a 36% gain right there. I'll be back in pretty light size if this bounce invalidates, as I am out. I'm just going to roll the same contracts. I don't have time to change the contracts to something a little cheaper. But that is one win in the books. This is the big PT here. 68.14 is what I want on ES. I have a hard time believing ES does not want 68.14, so I am patiently waiting for it to come back down. Looks like it wants to bounce though. I don't really want to enter calls, to be honest. Q calls might not be bad to this high. But I don't know, man. I would have to enter half size because I want to average down. NQ looks really nice. It does look really good. Maybe I'll have to enter. I might have to give it a shot. That looks incredible. Yeah, I filled it for that pre-market high. Filled at half size. How bad the risk reward is on this stuff. This is why I have to go half size, is because the risk reward's so dang bad. That's a bearish candle. Yes, flipping strong now. SPX calls aren't that bad. Ooh, I'm adding. I need this candle to close though. I'll be adding if this candle closes and that shooting star's body invalidates. That'll be my second half ad. I might do SPX instead, though. ES looks like it flipped a little bit stronger. But if this huge green candle validates, like if we dump, I am stopping this for puts. I was up 20% on this trade, so it's unfortunate that it's back up. These calls got to, nope, I was up 30% because I filled at 1.0. They got to 1.3. That is bullish. I took my ad. The calls are absolutely fried, though. They are chopped to absolute hell right now. Oh, no, never mind. It's just my options chain lagging. I couldn't fill my freaking Q call ad, but I did fill SPX calls to add. My Nasdaq options chain lagged. There's price target. Love to see it. You love to see it. Looks like it's just a choppy mess, though. Beautiful. Man, freaking options chain is lagging today. That just robbed me some extra money on my exit. Calls are at 1.4 for 40% gains there. I'm out. It may continue. ES, I don't know. Maybe that wasn't a good sell. ES looks great to that next pivot, actually. That turned into a pretty bullish liquidity sweep there. That is a gorgeous take profit on those puts. Uh, Very awesome job flipping sides. Those calls are up 50% now. If you took the SPX as well, those are up pretty big. The next PT would be this ES here. If we consolidate or something, I'm willing to re-enter. It all looks pretty good. Watching calls on the re-entry. NQ stronger than ES. It would be pretty aggressive though, but I actually do kind of like it. It's been a while since we've had a bullish warning. And with how strong that run is, I wouldn't be surprised if we squeeze a decent bit. NQ is so much stronger than ES. I scaled in light size. If it runs without me, that's going to suck, but I filled at 62 cents on the 614 calls. I'm looking for really that ES pivot. Tough decision. I actually glad I got filled there, but I am planning on scaling in. I can add a little bit more on this ES pullback if it, not on this pullback, if it invalidates this pullback. That is a really bullish buying wick here on ES. So let's see if it actually holds the buying wick. NQ does not look happy. NQ looks like it wants to go back down. So now it's a good thing that I'm lighting this trade. No, is that it this morning? Because that was a really bullish buying wick that we just invalidated. I don't really see us invalidating this huge red candle, but it looks like it's trying to do it. I guess it is. Did add a bit to my calls. It looks like the calls are chopping on NQ and ES is stronger now. NQ is flipping weak. So I am not a fan of the Nasdaq anymore. I like SPX calls a hell of a lot more. I do have an order in on SPX calls, but it looks like it left it behind. So it's looking like I'm just gonna have very small gains on the Nasdaq instead. These calls are going to absolute hell on the Nasdaq. These things aren't doing anything. Yeah, and NQ's done. I did fill my order on those SPX calls at 2.6. So we'll see if it actually gets there. I'm gonna scale out a bit on these Q calls just because they're chopping so much. So I scaled out a little bit. I lightened up that position. It looks freaking terrible. Yeah, I'm up. These calls aren't even anywhere close to high of day compared to where they were 4 minutes ago. What a scam. I like to scale more into SPX instead because SPX doesn't look like it's chopping at all. It's just NQ. Is it gonna miss it? Looks like it may miss it. It's a really bullish buying wick there. Really bullish if it holds. Let's see if it holds. Next candle did not open bullish or bearish. It opened kind of 50-50, but it did hold. So it's funny how all the freaking trades this morning are terrible risk to award except this first QQQ call trade. Dude, my Q calls are freaking scamming me. I'm not even green. I filled all the way down here. A scam. I'm barely gonna make anything on this if we hit BT. That's a scary candle. We may reverse to the downside. It looks like there's just a huge influx in the market. I don't know what that candle's doing. This is turning into bullish consolidation on ES, but I do not trust it because NQ is actually starting to chop up. You can kind of see a small rising wedge here, which I do not want to see. I need ES to completely invalidate these selling wicks. Looks like the market's stalling. And NQ is going up, but it's not. These contracts are pretty much only going down. So it looks like a lose-lose here. And that's the buying wick can validate on ES. Watch for potential stop loss rate. NQ looks like it wants a short squeeze to supply. This is an impressive start to this candle. The way it just invalidated that selling wick. But I need NQ to... If ES can get to here, it should be able to get PT again. That's 4 selling wicks invalidated. Otherwise, I'm kind of expecting it to stop loss right here soon. So it should break to the upside or downside within the next minute or so. Nope, NQ couldn't hold the green candle. Yeah, it looks like this trade's going to be a loss. There's a stop loss rate trying to start. It's a good thing I'm lighter size on this because these calls are freaking destroyed. Like, these calls are smoked. This is the most atrocious chop we've seen all week on options. Does ES follow NQ? No, they're separate, but that's the wrong way to look at it. It's the S&P 500 and Nasdaq. They both have a lot of the same stocks in them. That's why they generally move the same direction. So the S&P 500 doesn't follow anything except the stocks that creates the S&P 500. So the S&P 500 follows Apple, Microsoft, Google. So does Nasdaq, right? Nasdaq follows more Microsoft, Apple, Google, but NQ is more heavy on tech. The S&P 500 is just the top 500 companies, whether they're tech or freaking, Caterpillar. My calls are freaking destroyed, folks. I'm not going to make any money on this. PT's hitting, though. So it's like, what are you going to do? You know what? My calls aren't even at break even, by the way. I'm sitting here at 60 cents. Freaking scammers. I'm going to fight for a 2-cent profit. I don't think I'm going to get it, though. ES just hit PT. Don't really, I didn't fill. My break even did not fill on this NQ. Rip. But PT did hit. What a freaking scam. There's nothing I can do. It didn't even get to break even, so I had to dump it for a small loss, and then my SPX calls had a small win. Absolute waste of time. It's really annoying. Dude, I wonder why the calls are dumping so hard. I'll tell you what, though, if these calls keep dumping so hard and the market doesn't dump to the downside, um, yeah, it's going to be looking good for a short squeeze. Well, I got nothing for now. I wouldn't be surprised if we squeeze the supply, but I can't trade any calls. This market's options are absolutely going to hell right now. was a good trade though. Got exactly where I wanted it to go. Yeah, I wouldn't like to hold calls to supply, but what an absolute scam. The IV crush on those calls that happened was insane. For reference, the calls hit a high of 73 cents, just so you guys can see this. Calls hit a high of 73 cents here at 741. Here, the high they hit was 60 cents. So 73 cents here, 60 cents here. On this pullback, right here, the lowest they got was roughly 52 cents. And on this pullback here, they got to 41 cents. Like these things are absolutely destroyed. There's no hope. It would take one hell of a short squeeze to be able to bring these calls back up. The puts haven't been dropping really at all either. I mean, they have been when we've been moving up, but now they've been kind of chopping upwards. Let's see. They want. Now the puts chopped a bunch too. All the contracts got slammed. It's a pretty bearish candle. I'm not really seeing another potential trade though. I'm kind of turned off. I don't really want to. I mean, it's a small green day, but there's not really anything I can enter with the way these contracts are moving. And it's not like I can take puts again because this morning has been a bullish morning. And I'd be going against demand and a really bullish liquidity sweep. So in order for me to take puts, it'd have to be a really bearish dump to the downside, like really bearish. And then I'd have to scale into it. But it looks like the stop loss rate is finally starting. What a gorgeous PT though, TA wise. That was really nice. Yeah, man, I'm just turned off from options. That's really annoying. I hate when that shit happens. And that doesn't happen very often. I mean, chop happens every day, but that was absolutely atrocious. Looks like ES is going to get to demand. We'll see what it does once it gets to demand. I do have a hard time believing it's going to dump to my big 68.14 PT though. Like we already were bullish this morning. I feel like this is going to turn into a bear trap just because we've dropped for so many days in a row. That's the only reason why. We've dropped for 2 days in a row. Monday was a bullish day, and then all the days before that were red mornings. Yeah, Monday was a super bullish day. Friday was bearish. Last Thursday was bearish. Last Wednesday was bearish. And Tuesday was the last bullish day before that. Let's see what happens with news. We have news in 8 minutes. Looks like the market's anticipating fairly bearish news. Don't really want to enter puts before that. I mean, it's pretty much in free fall right now. It's not, it's looking pretty damn bearish, but ES is now at demand, so let's see what happens. This is the news scandal. The market was clearly expecting pretty bearish news, so let's see if it gets what it expected or it's anything different. And it creates a pop to the upside. Doesn't really look like it's bullish. Nope, it's looking bearish. That's a bearish enough candle to trigger me into puts. So I am triggered into puts for my huge PT. Hoping to average down on it though. Maybe I won't be able to average down on it. That's pretty bearish. Up 20% on these now. I mean, I'm kind of going for the big PT, but there should be a lot of support here at the low a day on ES. So watch for a bullish sweep at this level. I mean, those calls getting absolutely destroyed kind of signaled impending doom. Should be able to get a bounce though. Like I'm very much so expecting a bounce. I just need to see what that bounce looks like, how hard it bounces, so on and so forth, so I can gauge how I'm going to add to this trade. Did it get a bounce at all? The SPX puts are a lot more, the premiums are much more bullish than the QQQ puts, which is really nice. Looks like it's trying to get low of day then bounce, but we'll see. ES is starting to flip stronger here by a little bit. This is a nice bounce setup, especially with the lower lows and buying wicks on NQ. Well, it was a nice bounce setup. See if this candle closes green on the Nasdaq. I'm concerned I won't be able to add to this position, because I definitely can't add without a bounce. I'm gonna hang out on my phone and wait. Here's a new low of day. This is a great trim location if you want it. The puts are now starting to chop a lot, actually. That was a pretty solid trim if you took it. The market's really starting to slow down here. Contracts are starting to chop a bunch too, the same that it did, same as it did with the calls up here. Yeah, these puts are not moving at all with this drop. It's fairly indicative of a bounce, but I'm actually leaning pretty bearish for it to get to my big 68.14 PT. He's got a really good shot to get there. I'll keep hanging out waiting. Then Q pivot. It's a big support. Let's see if it acts as such. Looks like it is. See how big of a bounce NQ goes for. Why I said, that ES low day is a pretty good trim. And it hit a high of 30% gains. No one was selling for that though. Realistically, you got like 20%. Let's see how nice this bounce is. Looks like the market's starting to slow down quite a bit. But this is the biggest danger zone here. If NQ can get a decent bit under the low day pivot, it'll look really good. Big danger zone of a big bounce. Looks like it's trying to do it. And that market is slow right now. Oh my gosh, that's 108 tick PT? Too bad I'm not trading futures, dude. Oh my gosh, that's a huge price target for futures traders. What the heck? Never mind, the market's not slow. It's just slow on options. My puts literally have not gained any value. Like, it's literally flat right now. This freaking implied volatility decay is disgusting. They've gained a little bit, but not nearly as much as this has dropped. This has been pretty straight down, and these puts are fighting for every 10 cents it gains. That's disgusting. NQ next big pivot's coming up. It's right at the bottom of this demand. And these are manually drawn zones because the indicator can't see that far back, or not the indicator, trading view can't see that far back. So they are not going to delete when they break. I'm going to have to do that manually. Feel free to take profits on the way down. There's NQ. Breaking that. And then this one. Here we are. Will I get the big 6814 NQs on a big pivot? Watch for a potential bounce, but if it bounces, it's an honestly great addition opportunity. To show you guys how big this pivot is. There it is. Look at it in all its glory. I haven't marked out anything under it. There's not much under it, but I think there's some stuff I could mark out. Dude, these puts are not moving as much as they should. I should be up so much more. I should be up so... This is a 100 tick trade. Why am I only up freaking 50% right now? Disgusting. I should be clearing 100%. It's a perfect double bottom on yes. Type in chat if you guys are making some money on this downside. It all started with those calls, man. When you see calls dumping like that, it's hard to sell. You got to sell, though. Our calls were getting absolutely hornswoggled. I'm actually jealous of you guys trading futures. You guys are making so much more money than I am. 108 ticks on ES, and then 600 ticks on NQ. That's nuts. Watch ES bounce like right before my PT. That would be unfortunate. It's trying to do it. It's the first little pivot right here. I'm not going to zoom out and see it. It's too close. It is. See you later. See you later, buddy. Time to chat if you guys made money on this. Okay, let's see. And I am out of that. And I actually got a really good sell. I sold at 5.0. The highest these contracts got were at 5.3. Never mind. I sold it some at 5.1, it looks like. But now these are at 3.7. Oh my gosh, what an exit. What a freaking exit, folks. $79 gains if you got a better fill. I didn't get that good fill, though. I need to recalculate that. Filled at 3.0. Yeah, 73%. What a freaking exit, folks. And look, we actually have a decent amount of people in the YouTube. Most people still on Discord. 80 people on average on Discord, but we had 60 or 70 in YouTube, so yeah. All right, type in chat if you guys made money. That's it for my options trading. I'm fully flattened. That is, I mean, that's perfect. Every single one of my PTs hit. I just got absolutely destroyed on those calls. And my calls were good. I mean, I entered the calls here. My PT was here. That was my only price target for the calls. Hit PT flawlessly in reverse, but I end up losing money on that freaking trade because the calls chopped. But I mean, it's all beautiful, you know. This small put trade was really nice. These calls here on NQ to this pivot, that was really nice. So that's two nice trades. 3, the trade outcome wasn't nice as far as contracts go, but the TA was flawless. We are 4 for 4 today on hypotheses. Literally 4 for 4. So if you traded futures, you did really damn good today. Really freaking good. Because here were the trades that were taken. We had a little bit of this one. Then we had this one on NQ. And then really this one on ES. I'm not going to highlight the NQ trade. But this one was taken on ES. I'm just highlighting the hypotheses. Damn big morning. That's a solid freaking TA. Really solid. Really freaking solid. Very happy. Type in chat if you guys are green or red so I can send that screenshot to announcements. Need a couple more people to send, then I'm good. Yeah, for those attended the live, thanks for attending it. I'm gonna do my futures trading starting in 10 minutes here. All right. All right, that's enough slices, guys. I got it. I can't fit everyone now. I love how like nearly every day it's just here's how everyone did, and it's just a chat full of people saying they're green, like literally everyone or most people. It's a pretty solid day, pretty solid. This will be a good masterclass week. Unfortunately, I'm too busy for masterclass. That's hating on our results. No one expects me like when people like shit talk with the reactions. It's like No one expects me to ping their name in the announcement channel. He put a skull and then the Star of David on the screenshot uh of of the screenshot of everyone being green. It's like, dude, did you lose money or something? By the way, that's TCG. That's the real cookie in chat in the free trading chat. Oh wait, never mind. He's not. What the heck? I need to ask him. That might be him. I asked him if it's him. Is your Discord server 6 cents? No, that's just one of the servers I alerted in. Okay, I still have 6 minutes till I can trade futures. Um, I'm going to make a coffee before I do that. Before I do that, type in chat. Who here in the Discord chat has connected their Trade of 8 to the journaling platform? Has anyone done that yet? If you haven't, freaking do it. What the heck are you guys doing? TCG, yeah, I know TCG has. TCG is always logged in. Same with Dev. Everyone else, though, you guys should connect your Trade of 8 to the North Star platform. Lopez, okay, Lopez, how do you like it? I made a ton of updates to it. Now you can disconnect your Trade of 8, and in your broker connections, you can turn it on to sync every hour to keep updating. All right, I guess only TCG and Lopez has. Everyone else hates me. It's fine. Okay, Jovan. Yeah, I can always count on Jovan too. There are some of you guys that I can always count on. Yeah, but loan your own top step. I'll pursue a top step API next, and then pretty much everyone that trades futures here can use it. You guys got to do it though. It's freaking beautiful. Show you guys what you're missing out on real quick before some of you guys leave this voice. Let's log into Ashton's account, I guess. By the way, we're continuing to make progress on the newsletter. I sent a bonus midweek newsletter last night. Half of the server got it. 12,000 people got it before Discord banned it. So we're continuing to kind of refine that. Reconnecting. And I think I worked out most of the bugs. If you guys see any bugs, let me know. Like, look how beautiful this is. This is a freaking work of art, guys. Hang on. And make sure you guys combine partial fills. I would highly recommend it. So I'm going to send some screenshots here. This is what you see. And then if you combine fills, combine partial fills, you also see this. So it'll automatically combine all of your partial fills because sometimes Tradevate fills you like if you're trying to take 5 MNQ, it'll fill 3 and 2 or 2, 1 and 1. So take a look at those screenshots I just sent. It'll pull up all the trades, beautiful. You can add it to an existing strategy. But combine part, I would recommend after you guys select which strategy it's going to, combine the partial fills and then do that. Now, I'm not going to get super advanced yet to where you can automatically sync it to one of your strategies and your trades upload to the strategy live. Right now, it's just manual. Just every single day, at the end of the day, look at the trades that you took each day and import those. But I may look into expanding it in the future. But yeah, it makes my life a lot easier. Totally agreed. I don't have as much time to trade, so alerts is the best for me. If you're green overall from alerts, congratulations, legitimate, but that's not going to last, unfortunately. You cannot make money long term from alerting. So if you think trading is going to be some side hustle to where you can follow alerts on the side and make money, I hate to burst your bubble and rain on your parade, but it's not going to work. You can't make long term money in this industry. You can't make income without actually learning to trade. I mean, alerts are profitable if you're already profitable, but if you don't have the proper psychological skill sets practiced and reinforced, those short-term gains are really just long-term losses. Yes, Lopez, but I removed the I removed that. Yes, each trade does have a unique ID, but for the duplicate stuff, um, I removed that because it's too much issues. I'm gonna reinforce that today because it used to not be able. Like if you've already imported trades, each trade has a unique ID. You can't import the same trade again. However, if you try to import the same trades to a different strategy, it also wouldn't allow it. It would break. Also, if you soft delete the trades and try to import them, sorry, just these. If you soft delete the trades and try to import them, that'll also not allow you to import. So right now, there should be no duplicate prevention. I'll work on something more advanced. But there is an undo import button as well now on the month run page. So if you make a CSV import or a Tradeovate import and you realize that you imported a bunch of the same trades, you can just hit that beautiful button, which is undo import, and it'll remove everything you just imported. So that duplicate prevention also isn't super necessary because we have that button. You don't have to manually delete each trade. All right. What do we have? Well, we have bears to quit. It is 8:30. We have, let me see. ES is weak. Weak. Bearish consolidation on NQ. Trend, liquidity sweep. Going against that and that, I actually have to get into shorts. I do not want to get in, but I do kind of have to get in. Yeah. Liquidity sweep. Weak. Bearish consolidation. Trend going against. Demand, maybe continuation on pivot and demand. And really, the PT would be Yeah, really the price target will be the NQ demand break. Because that's a 4-hour low, I believe. Or a daily low. Or no, never mind. It's not. It's just a big, really big pivot. This next pivot's a big pivot as well. Tommy says, wait, shorts are a chase here. Tommy, I only enter trades you're not allowed to enter. You should know this by now. All right, I got to set up my journal and stuff, so give me a bit. I don't really want to enter shorts down here. I'm literally entering at low of day, but I'm triggered in by my strategy, so I don't really have a choice. I would, if you're taking this trade, I'd probably lighten my size, though. This trade doesn't have a very good probability of working out. And the stop loss is a whopping 66 ticks away. I gotta do what I gotta do. Nice job, Joe, man. Congrats on the gains. Lock it out for the day. Right now, I have this at 4-1. It could be 5-1 continuation on a pivot, but I don't really know if it is continuation on pivot. Even if it is, I still had to get in. You see, get to the 1 minute, man. Oh, I can't even go back that far. It was a waste of effort. That's a bull. That looks bullish for a bounce on ES. Yeah, that is a pretty bullish pivot, but I don't know. Tough decision. I'll be right back. Yeah, Lee said there is a nice trend line, which is scary. Very scary, because this is a bullish falling wedge forming on ES. Looks like the falling wedge is trying to break to the upside bullishly. What's the news though? Like, can this even go down more? Looks like it's getting ready for a short squeeze to the upside. Kind of expecting to stop out. Not seeing much for news though. Bitcoin's getting freaking hammered. Yeah, it looks like that's bottom. That's gonna short squeeze. Gosh, I don't like having to get into trades all the way at the freaking bottom, but it's like I was triggered in 4-1, possibly 4-2, but definitely 4-1. It's pretty unavoidable. If this liquidity sweep wasn't here, then I'd have a solid chance. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna go straight to stop loss. It might come back down after NQ sweeps a higher high, which means I could potentially re-enter this trade because there'll still be bearish consolidation on ES, but I need ES to go up a lot more than it is right now to get rid of the bullish chop. Looks like this whole thing is demand. Um, I'm kind of thinking we can bounce all the way to the 38.2% on ES. I think this bounce can last a while. Looks like bear's trying to stop it a little bit. I think it's just going to turn into a short squeeze. We'll highlight this though. Yeah, those are the ones I'll leave. Even if we don't shoot up right here, which yeah, that's super bullish. It looks like an inverse head and shoulders. So I'm thinking we get all the way to 38.2%. We'll see what happens when that's what happened yesterday, right? We got to the 38.2% perfectly, then came back down. We also have ES trying to flip strong. So I don't really think NQ is going to get to supply. NQ is weaker though. Am I going to have to re-enter this? I can't tell. Told you. And there's a short squeeze. All right, I can't get into anything if we go up unless we maybe bullishly can say no. There's nothing that I can get into. Actually, really anytime soon. Even if we come back down, it's not going to look like If we come down right now without getting another green candle, it could turn into bearish consolidation. But I don't really see that happening. Watching for inverse head and shoulders here on ES. Definitely not going to be able to enter it, I don't think. NQ is still stronger than ES. Even if we did come back down, I feel like I'd have to enter ES at low of day, because I wouldn't be able to enter until NQ gets to here. But for inverse head and shoulders, if I just went to supply, I think it would just be 2 to 1 pattern and then strength on NQ going against trend. That is a no, it's pretty close to double top. I don't know if we do put in the inverse head and shoulders. Um, no, I got to give that. No, I can't enter that because it's still bearish chop. But if we come, I mean, if we come back down here on NQ, is it not just the same trade again? The problem is, though, that could also sweep my stop loss. I fear I'm triggered into pretty much the exact same trade. I have to wait one more candle. I want to get on that candle, but I can't because of the potential inverse head and shoulders still. That's a pattern, but re-entering here on ES would be... Gosh, I don't want to keep getting stopped out for massive losses, but it is what it is. NQ bearish consolidation, trend, weak, liquidity sweep, going against demand and maybe still continue. Yeah, it's the same trade. Doesn't help that ES missed this little pivot right here, but didn't miss it by enough to give it that keyword. Right, it's documented. We'll see. I don't like these. This is just dangerous, honestly. That's like, what am I gonna do? I would put the stop loss further, but this area, it's fairly bullish that we missed this pivot by only 2 ticks, half a point. So I don't know. I could go 1-to-1. I don't really want to. I was kind of thinking this pivot down here on NQ, but I don't know. It's a big toss-up. I think it would be a great day to size down if you're not tolerant to risk, though. Because these trades are massive. Watch for NQ head and shoulders within this bearish consolidation. This is another gray area. I usually don't include it because pretty much every bear flag would be a potential head and shoulders. But that looks good for a bounce. And actually, unfortunately, looks like ES flips strong. So it actually, at the moment, looks like I'm going to stop out again. Broke boy, I don't think so. If there was, I'd use it. I mean, maybe a bracket, but I don't think so. Yeah, this is gonna stop out. ES just flips super strong. ES is extremely strong. Good grief. We're right back. Looks like today's gonna be red day because I have to keep getting triggered into this bearish consolidation. ES looks great to that pivot though. Yeah, I think bracket orders exist, but I don't really know how to use them. You can change it. Actually, no, I don't. I don't even know how to do bracket orders on Trade of 8. Yeah, I guess the ATM button doesn't. Mine just says off though. ATM aim, take profit. But yeah, but to set an ATM order, you gotta like preset your take profit and stop loss. I don't know. I don't mess with that. You cannot use it with group trading. Well, there goes that. And that is super bullish. Looks like nothing's today. Today's gonna be nothing but stop losses because now after dumping forever, we're just gonna chop sideways. I hang out on my phone and wait for this to hit stop loss or do something impressive. No, Jovan, when you group trade, you don't need to set it on 20 accounts. It sets it by itself. You just set it when you're group trading, you set whatever order on one account, it places it on all accounts. If you're on the mobile app, you can swipe left. Yeah, I just don't know about brackets and mobile options. To be honest, I have no faith for my future trading today just because I'm concerned it's just going to chop the rest of the time and I'm just going to take freaking massive losses and we'll wipe out the last month of profits on my accounts. But which is a psychological challenge. Uh, but I have to do it. Like I literally have to do it. So I can't, I can't not do it. And this PT on ES, really, I was thinking my PT is actually here on NQ because that's a big pivot. The next closest pivot on NQ is this one. Um, Here, try to show you guys. It's not a very big pivot. It bottomed here and then gapped up the next day from Friday to Sunday. So, I don't know. This is a much larger pivot, but to be completely honest, if I honestly have no faith. I'm just gonna keep it real, you guys. I have no faith. I think today's gonna be red day on a big red day on futures. Um, oh yeah, as I say, this candle's we get the world's most bullish candle. But if NQ were to hit the next pivot around the same time as ES hits that demand, I would probably do it. It's hard for me to believe it's not prepping for a large short squeeze though, because we keep getting these huge candles that keep flashing to the upside like this one, and then the one like 5 minutes ago. But then sellers step in and try to sell it off, which is concerning for a potential short squeeze. All right, I'm gonna keep hanging out my phone. Yeah, Stocky, it's probably better, definitely this week, to go for low of day during the first hour. I would have loved to trade futures during the first hour. It'd be freaking such big wins today. If I traded options and futures at the same time, unfortunately, I can't. It's looking like this second hour is real rough. Actually, kind of turned into a bullish falling wedge here on ES. I'm just hoping it gets to 68.29.5 because that means my stop loss was pretty solid. But I wouldn't be surprised if it sweeps my stop loss and comes back down. In which I think I'd actually have to enter again. They're really not trying to do all these entries. I keep hanging out my phone. All right, watch for a potential falling wedge. You know, the 1-to-1 risk to award is here, right? I'm debating on just, I don't think I'm going to be able to sell just when NQ gets this pivot. They're about even in strength. ES was a bit stronger there. I think I'm kind of stuck going for this next big one. I don't really see the market as bearish enough to produce that, though. It says job openings crater most since 2023 to the lowest in 5 years as payroll set for negative print. So we do have bearish news, but we've already dropped so much. And that is a very bullish liquidity sweep. It didn't make low of day. It perfect double bottomed, but that is an inverse head and not inverse. It's a falling wedge. That is an extremely bullish candle there. All right, that double bottom broke on ES. That is a very bullish liquidity sweep. And this is a bullish pattern, a falling wedge. If you're not trading mechanical strategy, I would not like to hold shorts through this. But I literally have no choice. But that is extremely bullish. In fact, if I were trading options, that'd be a pretty decent call entry for a reversal trade right here. No, Bree, I'm 100% expecting to stop out. That's why I called it right there. I'm like, that's a great long entry. It's a very bullish falling wedge. But if I'm triggered in, I'm triggered in. I have to follow my strategy flawlessly, even if it means I got to lose accounts over it. I'm just hoping that if slash when it gets to my stop loss, it at least continues to this pivot because that's why my stop loss is placed closer. Otherwise, my stop loss will be placed a bit further away. That looks pretty dang good for my 68.29 break. That was a gorgeous long entry if you took it. I would love to take it if I wasn't stuck in these terrible trades today. I'm not going to be able to get back into shorts though. So if we end up dropping, it's going to be unfortunate because I can't be in. Now with that bearish liquidity sweep there. Well, back to hanging out on my phone. If we... No, there's really no way I can... I don't see any more trades happening. Because I can't enter shorts now. Because it's really no longer bearish consolidation and I'm going against the liquidity sweep. Longs could be possible somewhere. I'm not really seeing it though. Yeah. Really, the only thing I can think of is if we break this to the upside, then bullishly consolidate against supply, I might be able to take a long trade to the 61.8. Otherwise, I don't really see anything else that I can get triggered into today. Got to the bullish BT perfectly. Now we'll see what happens. I mean, no, I can't. I can't even enter a short trade if it invalidates the majority of the move because it'll be a 3-2 trade. They'll have liquidity sweep, liquidity momentum, and weak going against demand and liquidity sweep. It's the most obvious falling wedge I've ever seen, though. Even Stevie Wonder could see that. Which, why being so good at TA is so psychologically deteriorating, because I knew damn well, like, knew with 98% certainty that that's exactly what's going to happen, but it's very difficult psychologically to not just stop out in reverse and take it to the PT where I know it's going to get to. But if I would be wrong, then I'd lose all my accounts right there, so it's not allowed. But I'm gonna keep hanging on my phone. Oh, man, dude, it's I feel like it's gonna drop during the third hour, and I'm not gonna be able to get in now with that liquidity sweep. No, that doesn't really count as a bullish liquidity sweep, though. Like, this is just kind of one pivot here. Because that also screwed me Monday and Tuesday. I don't know. It's tough if this counts as a liquidity sweep or not. Because it is a liquidity sweep, but does it count as a keyword? Because it's pretty much just an even bottom. See you later, Kept. A very good stop loss there. Yeah, I'm leaning bullish. Is this a liquidity sweep, though? I have freaking no idea. I have no idea if I want to count this as a liquidity sweep for the. I mean, I guess I can. Problem is, psychologically, I want to use it in whichever way is going to help me get into a trade. So if it's a short trade, don't want to count it. If it's a long trade, I do want to count it. So it's kind of a psychological issue. This is very bullish, though. I mean, if we can bullishly consolidate, I can take a long to the 61.8. Maybe. We haven't even looked. No, we haven't really invalidated majority of the move. So it would just be bullish consolidation, and they are pretty much even strength right now. And it would be going against supply. I can potentially count this as a bearish liquidity sweep on the Nasdaq. I don't really think it's going to hold, though. Because even if we, let me see, even if we come back down, is this a liquidity sweep? It got way too far over it, but technically all the candles are touching it. Even if I did do liquidity sweep, it would be liquidity momentum, liquidity sweep. Going against demand. No, I can't re-enter shorts. That's pretty much for sure. Yeah, there's nothing that my strategy will trigger me into anytime soon. So I'm gonna hang out on my phone. Maybe in 20, 30 minutes, I might get something, but I wouldn't be surprised if I don't get anything else. All right, that is now liquidity momentum on NQ. I'm giving it liquidity sweep. NQ does not have a bearish liquidity sweep going against it, just DS does. Looks like both have liquidity momentum. Let me see. If NQ were to be strong, it's not really strong. It's a little strong right now, not enough. If it were strong and consolidated right here, I'd have, if I count this as a liquidity sweep, and to the way it acted and the way we chopped down to it, and it was a pretty big bounce, I'm fine counting it as one. I'll have all these trades though. I'm stuck having to enter at the top of the freaking trend, at least at the time of entry, which sucks. But I'll have liquidity sweep from down here, liquidity momentum, bullish consolidation, and I'd be going against supply and liquidity sweep. But if it's true NQ is stronger, it'll be another fortitude trade. If we can consolidate somewhere up here, and ideally I'd like to consolidate before the 61.8. And I'd be stuck freaking going for a massive trade to high of day. It's not really a trade I want to take either. Because that is a big, far stop loss. And I can't really go any further than that. I feel like today's just going to be nothing but massive losses. But I'll technically be triggered into that trade. I know in my back testing I'd have to take it, so whatever happens, happens. As long as it's done with perfect psychology. As a 61.8, that's going to be pretty big resistance. If we don't consolidate, that's going to be actually sad because I'm actually genuinely starting to lean bullish for NQ to get to new high of day. All right, I'll keep hanging out on my phone. All right, ES definitely looks stronger than NQ now, but let's see if NQ ends up putting in bullish consolidation. We did reject the 61.8, which is scary. I would rather not enter against the 61.8. And the trade would have to be freaking ginormous. Like, uh, my biggest trade I've taken on ES maybe ever. And it'd have to be like a 2.0 risk to reward. Just pretty unlikely to play out, unfortunately. But I'll keep hanging out waiting. Polar opposite day to yesterday, unfortunately. I'll go back to hanging out on my phone. Starting to look like bullish consolidation on the Nasdaq, but ES is only a tiny bit stronger. It's not much stronger right now. It's very debatable, but this is bullish consolidation. And well, what would we have? We have bullish consolidation, liquidity momentum, and liquidity sweep. But we're going against two, supply and liquidity sweep. Now, I could technically enter a trade just to the 78.6 fib, and that would avoid the liquidity sweep keyword. But it's kind of gray area that's kind of like working around the keywords, right? And that's an unnatural. I pretty much never just go to the 78.6 fib. It's either 61.8, a pivot, or a major supplier demand. And that supply kind of ruins everything. Yeah, we have no supply zones. The ES is definitely stronger. Per candle, it's not as much stronger, but um, it only invalidated half of this big green candle. NQ invalidated the entire thing. So no, tough situation. I feel like no matter what, it's today's just kind of a data collection day. Trying to put in a bullish buying wink here. Yeah, I mean, ES NQ did invalidate this entire candle. ES did not. These last few candles have been pretty much dead even. Tough decision, man. Very tough decision. This is bullish consolidation here. I'm not really feeling the strong keyword. So if I were to take it, I'd just go to the 78.6. But I don't know. I have to make that decision quickly. Oh no, I definitely need one more green candle. That's tough. That's tough. With no strength, I can go to the 78.6. And we do have potential inverse head and shoulders here as well, so I feel like there's a good chance it does get to the 78.6, especially with this really nice bullish consolidation. But the strengths are too close. ES is overall a little bit stronger, but not over the last 5 minutes. They've been pretty identical, so I don't want to go for a huge pivot PT based on that and have a massive green to red trade. Yeah, I'm technically triggered in here. Stonky, there's somewhere on my YouTube channel. Okay, looks like NQ is actually flipping stronger. I'm not getting in on a big selling wick though. I need that selling wick to be a green candle, and I can get in. Yeah, it's somewhere on my YouTube. I'm gonna create a new video series because a lot has been updated and it improved and changed with that strategy builder. But I can't be asked to do that right now. So Yankee's trying to flip a bit stronger. Really nice 61.8 rejection though. Looks like ES is back to being a tad stronger, not much. No, they're about even, man. I'm really hoping I can get a solid strength divergence. Because I think there is a decent shot that we do get to high of day if this bull flag is completed nicely. But it looks like it's trying to invalidate it now. It's pretty good trigger discipline here, because if I entered here, it'd be nearly stop loss, and that's another massive loss. Yeah, bullish consolidation is pretty much off the table. Could still turn into a potential cup and handle. Um, but because this liquidity sweep and demand, I don't really see a way that I can potentially enter shorts. Because we could just invalidate majority of the move. We invalidate majority of the move, one is weaker, and we bearishly consolidate, then there could be a discussion to be had, but I'm still going against two, so I need another one. I can technically include this liquidity sweep. That's what I did last time, and it did work. So I'd actually be able to if we come down and then bearishly consolidate again. Maybe put in some kind of head and shoulders, or just, yeah, bearishly consolidate here. That'd be a trade that I can take. So that's what I'm waiting for now. That's pretty bullish. ES is strong. Uh, Gosh, that's a good long right there. That's a damn good long. I wouldn't be able to enter till the close of this candle. And does that count as bullish consolidation on NQ? It is a bullish ascending broadening wedge. It's not a bull flag anymore. As you can see. That's what that is. Technically on NQ, yes. So if we close this way, I can actually enter. I feel like every trade is just going to be lost today, though. I have no faith. It is one of those anti-strategy days. I did place my order. It did not fill me, though. It did. I'm not going to give it strength. Its strengths are so freaking close. So that's the furthest PT that I can go to. And super tight stop loss. That's really all I can do. I can't do anything else. Now, if I gave it strong, I didn't even analyze that a ton, to be honest. C4. Hang on, I gotta document this. Actually, I'll bring it back. I don't think there's any. I mean, it is. It kind of is strong. It kind of is, but it's not super defined. Question is, was it strong at this entry? How much did it pull back percentage-wise? Not even 38.2. Nowhere near 38.2. It wasn't really strong as far in terms of pullback. Half. Half. No, they're pretty much even. ES was slightly stronger on the rebound, but not enough. Okay, I cannot go to IDA, that's for sure. Still kind of gray area trades with the putting peaches closer to avoid liquidity sweeps. But we'll see. I don't have enough data on that yet. The entire last month has just been data collecting, to be honest. I'll be back. I gotta use the restroom. For trade integration, can we see old trades before the connection? Yeah, no, old trades before the all trades that have ever been done on your account, it'll see that. Zen. So when you connect your Tradeovate, just click this quarter or this year, and it'll show all the trades. It's the exact same time selector format as Tradeovate. I'm not a huge fan of Tradeovates, but it's familiar. So it's like today, yesterday, this week, this month, last month, this quarter, last quarter, this year, last year, custom date range. But all right, I'll be right back, guys. And I'm back. And man, you guys trying to be terrible babysitters again? Did you guys freaking curse my trade while I was gone? That kind of reversal candle's that. Not like that though. It's a lot of short stepping into the market. Looks like it's trying to invalidate the buying wick, which would be pretty bearish. Well, we're pretty far from both my orders, so I'm gonna hang out on my phone. Then let me know if you successfully connect your Tradeovate account. Any plans for top? Yeah. After I get the strategy builder and all the stuff I'm doing sorted, uh, I'll pursue the Top Step X API, and then every single person that trades futures in this community is covered. Right now, a far majority are on Tradeovate because Tradeovate is every single platform except Top Step. And then yeah, Top Step is the next plan. By the way, there's a new community rankings on the strategy builder. If you guys take a look at that, it is. See, just go to the North Star Edge. Team in a row actually has me freaking beat. I thought I was in first place by forever Because pretty much how it works is every strategy you log, it's 20 points. Every trade you log is 10 points. Every month run is 10 points. Every single image is 10 points. Every keyword is 5 points. Every post exit analytic tag, PT type, stop loss type, daily tag. I'm going to add notes as well. Risk reward entries, all of those other things are 5 points each. So if you're just logging trades, you don't get nearly as many points. So then you are number 7 with 23,870 points. Team Monroe's first place with 48,430. But you can hover over everyone's names and see it. So check that out. Click the community rankings tab and that'll do it. Did not know you were tracking that. Just now starting to. Yeah, no, Team Monroe, dude, has so much data. So what I did on the admin side is I can see all of your guys' strategies. So I'm like, there's no way Team Monroe has me beat. So I looked up his name and looked at his strategies, and like some of his strategies will have no keywords. I'm like, how the hell is he beating me? And then some of his strategies will have a million keywords. I'm like, dude, he actually has me beat as far as how much data he has logged into the North Star platform. So that's super cool. Yeah, Team Monroe. That's why I pinged you in premium chat yesterday. But yeah, just continuing to build the website and just, I mean, it's gonna make me money, right? And that's how I'm gonna continue to evolve my edge. I need a platform to take in the data and evolve it because last month hasn't been very good. But yeah, Team Monroe, log into the website, click the North Star Edge, which is the new name for the journaling platform, and then click community rankings, and you can see it. For Apex, one of my 50K accounts is 55K. Can now withdraw 2K and make $50 a day. No, Meow Mix. You have to make at least 2,000, I think. Yeah, you have to make at least 2,000s, but take the payout today and don't trade it until it gets approved. But I believe you have to increase by at least $2,000. So $200 a day or something like that. And then once you have 3 months of payouts, then you can consistently. This is starting to look like a potential head and shoulders on NQ, which is a problem. ES is definitely stronger, but this is a head and shoulders on NQ now. That's a really bearish candle we just put in. Yeah, Team Monroe, I'll send the image in chat. I only track the top 25 people. Yeah, we'll do group 4, market close. Just remind me. I've been super busy lately. What was this green by? It was green by 50 ticks. That freaking sucks. That's a pretty big green to red trade there. All right, I'm gonna hang out on my phone again. Looks like NQ is trying to hornswoggle my trade. It may be successful. It's a good entry though. That bullish consolidation played out. That is pretty bearish. Looks like this trade's over. It might put in a head and shoulders, but absolutely nothing today. Nothing like a really bright green to red trade to be the cherry on top. Gosh, that's surprising how bearish it is. I'm kind of thinking we might head all the way back down to low of day with how hard this. If we don't quickly invalidate this drop, I'm kind of seeing us going all the way back to low of day. That is a really bearish rejection. This is bearish consolidation. Looks like it's gearing for a break to the downside, unfortunately. I'll keep just hanging out on my phone. There's nothing for me to do. That's a bearish consolidation break to the downside. And that was a pretty bullish selling wick, but I think it's at least going to make a lower low before it comes back up. So I think it'll bottom somewhere after sweeping this and then maybe come back up. I'm not going to have another trade though. It looks like it's just going to be 3 big losses today, unfortunately. Looks like this is turning into more bearish consolidation. It was looking pretty decent for a bounce before this red candle on NQ. I was kind of thinking it at least try to put in a right shoulder, and then maybe that shoulder breaks the downside. But if we close this candle right here bearish, it's probably just going to get down right now. We'll keep hanging out my phone. That's a bear pennant. Expecting it to break to the downside here. Maybe there's a chance I'll get lucky, but today has been the opposite of lucky. And that is it. Biggest red day I've had in 3 months, I think, right there. Finishing off with a big green to red trade. You love to see it. Can't do anything else but have perfect psychology, though. All right. There's 9 more minutes. It's impossible for me to get triggered into anything, though. So I'm going to head out. There's not really anything I can do. Hopefully, tomorrow my first trade or two is green, or else I'm going to lose a portion of my accounts because today was just too big of a red day. I think I have like 400 or 500 buffer on some of my early accounts. All right. I will see you guys later. Good luck if you continue to trade. And good thing I make money on options because this last month on futures has been freaking terrible. Log out so you don't watch it. Didn't even sweep the lower low. All my one more small red trade, even a half of one, all my accounts are gone. Literally all of them, Ashton. Look, $2,200 red day. I am down $19,000 today. All of my accounts are gone. One more red trade, and there's nothing I can do about it. Months of hard work, like a month and a half of hard work.